Home turf. Gate City taking one from Richlands back in Gate City earlier in this season, back before the turn of the new year. Richlands coming out, new uniforms, new shoes. Let's see if it helps with a new outcome. Jumping for Gate City will be Brent Herron. Good to see Brent back in the lineup after several weeks with an ankle injury. He was out. He'll be jumping against Scott Phyllis, Richie Drum, number 24. There's Phyllis, number 12, coming down with the basketball for Richlands. Once again, the Blue Devils and the Blue Tornadoes mixing up here in an old Southwest District rivalry. Phyllis from three. His jumper will not go. Rebound coming down to Gate City's long-armed Brad Hensley. Hensley gives off to Mullins, and now it's Baker. Pull up from 16. No good. Bryan tipping it out of bounds, and it is Blue Tornado basketball. No scores. We've just started. It should be a dandy ball game. Great crowd on hand tonight. Of course, very partisan to the Blue Tornadoes since they are at home. Phyllis on the wing, looking for help, being guarded by Baker. Gate City dropping back to a zone defense. Blackwell now coming out to cover number 22, Baldwin. On the side, that was Drum. Now it's Phyllis. Phyllis looking to his left and passes to number 30, Chris Clem. Back to Phyllis. This side is number 22, Brad Baldwin. Drum back to Baldwin. Phyllis as Gate City collapsing down in the zone on the inside. Over in the corner to Drum. Check, he'll drive, shot block, check. And it is out of bounds to Richlands. Great defense on the inside. Gate City dropping a heartbreaker last night to Lee County. One of the key elements, Brent Herron, got in some foul trouble early. And with that went the Gate City defense. In the corner, Drum will take it again. This time it's good from 16. 2 points for Richie Drum. And Richlands is on the scoreboard. 2-0 early on in the first quarter. Blackwell up in the two. Herron, eventually Mullins pulls up from 16. Off the front of the rim, short. Phyllis is tied up by Mullins. And on the alternating possession, it will be Gate City basketball. Not a popular call with the Richlands fans, but it does go the Blue Devil way. Gate City trailing 2-0 early on in the ball game. Inbounding will be Brian Baker, looking for help. Gets it into Hensley. He's double teamed on the inside, fighting his way through the screen, and he puts it off the glass and good. Brad Hensley coming up with his first two and the Gate City first two of the night. Pressure on by Gate City. Drum has it, crosses the half-court line, finds Phyllis. Phyllis in the corner, now on the wing, handing off to Drum. Gate City playing an effective check that zone defense. Phyllis on the wing, driving, looking for help. Baldwin in the corner to Drum. Hensley comes out to greet him. Phyllis driving over on that side. He'll take the running jumper off the glass and good. Scott Phyllis with two. And it's a 4-2 lead for Richlands. Baker nearly losing the basketball. Needs some help. Hensley comes up to greet him. Baker now, Phyllis all over him. Bryan pushing the defense back across the court line. Up to David Blackwell. Baker open from three. Shot is up, and it's good. Brian Baker with a three-pointer for Gate City. And the Blue Devils jump ahead 5-4. Great defense in the backcourt. Mullins, and it was Baker double-teaming over there. Now Drum, and a blocking foul will be called on Brad Hensley, number 50 of Gate City. That'll be team foul number 1 and personal number 1 on Hensley. 5:34 left to play here in the first quarter. It's a 5-4 ball game in the favor of Gate City. Richlands inbounding from the side. In the hands of Scott Phyllis is the basketball. He's got Baldwin to his right, and that's where he goes. Baldwin in the corner to Drum. Drum trying to charge the baseline. Good defense by Hensley over there to stop him. Eventually, they work it over to Clem in the corner. Back to Baldwin. Drum is open from 17. Shot is up, and it's no good. Tipped out of bounds to Gate City. Good inside defense by the zone of Gate City, forcing Richlands to go to the perimeter to shoot. Hensley going to have to hurry to get it in. Tipped away from Blackwell. Great defense there by number 22, Brad Baldwin. Richlands with a very young lineup. I believe only one senior in its ranks tonight. Herron looking for help. Going to have to hurry to get it in. Hensley's got it. And now the Devils will work it up court behind senior Brian Baker, who's done an outstanding job the past 2 years as Gate City's point guard. Blackwell up to Hensley, looking for help, and he will be called for traveling as he drug the pivot foot, trying to find somebody open on the inside. Turnover to Richlands with 5:05 left to play here in the first quarter. 5-4, Gate City on top. Token pressure by the Devils. Now the double team in the front court as Baldwin uses his front arm to push off. Stolen away by Hensley. Up to Baker. Baker weaving around. Has it knocked away from behind by Chris Clem. Phyllis now bringing it up for Richlands. Finds Baldwin. Drum in the corner. Hensley out to greet him. Long court pass to Clem, and he will be called for traveling as he took a step just a tad too soon before driving, and it is Gate City basketball. Heron into Blackwell. 4:39 left to play here in period number 1 at Richlands. Baker pulls up from 17. Jumper in and out. Rebound tipped around. Coming down to Blackwell of Gate City. Looking for help. He's caught in the corner. Finally out to Brian Baker. Baker being fronted by Brad Baldwin. And it's Chad Mullins. Whip pass into Hensley. Wide open shot is good as he goes to the right hand, and a foul drawn. Great move by senior Brad Hensley. And the foul called on number 12, Scott Phyllis of Richlands. That'll be personal number 1 on Phyllis, and team foul number 1 on the Blue Tornadoes. And trying to complete the three-point play, it is Brad Hensley of Gate City, number 50. Shot is up, banks it too hard off the back of the iron. Mullins comes over the back for the rebound. Up from 16. It's too hard. Hensley bangs around. And finally, it's Richlands basketball. 7-4 is what they trail to Gate City. Phyllis driving the lane. Over Hensley. Pull-up jumper is no good. Heron, or check that, Mullins snagging the rebound. Baker numbers it out with him. And the ball slapped away by Brad Baldwin. Check that. That was Richie Drum slapping the basketball away. It's Gate City basketball on the side. And the Richlands coach giving the referee a couple of choice words on the side. Blackwell driving, dishes off to Heron, open from the free throw line. Shot will not fall. And here come the Blue Tornadoes with 3:53 left to play in the first quarter. Scott Phyllis, the team general, calling out the signals. Gate City playing an effective 2-3 zone, pretty much destroying any inside game plan that the Blue Tornadoes had thought about. Phyllis needing some help. Over on the far side to Drum. Eventually, it's Clem with the jumper from 18. 2 points for number 30, Chris Clem. Some heavy pressure on. Heron beating the press and will hold it up for Gate City. 7-6 ball game. Heron nearly throwing it away. Phyllis all over Baker. Over to a wide open David Blackwell. He'll instead dish to Hensley. Turnaround jumper is good. And Brad Hensley playing a very effective game on the inside. Hensley with 2 more points. Has some good pressure on by Gate City. Hensley and Baker now double teaming number 24, Drum. Nearly a backcourt violation. Phyllis pulling up for the free throw line. Shot will not go. Phyllis snagging his own rebound in the far corner. Stripped away by Mullins, but Phyllis is there to pick it back up. And the shot is up. No foul called, and the Richlands fans are irate about that one. Here come the Devils down the court. Long pass up to Hensley, stays in, loses the basketball, and Phyllis picks it up. And here come the Blue Tornadoes. 9-6, they trail it, 2:25. Skip pass up to Baldwin. Now Phyllis thought about the three, instead will drive. Drum trying to get around Mullins. Great defense by Chad Mullins. Phyllis taking it all the way, dishes off inside. That's number 52 who's checked in, or checked that. That's Brandon Blankenship. Up court to Baker. Running jumper does not go. Ball away by Hensley is good. Brad Hensley having a tremendous first quarter. Brad Hensley with 8 points here in the first period. Drum picks it up, driving around Heron, and his layup is good over the outstretched arms of Hensley. Richie Drum for 2. Drum now has 4 points, and a foul whistled on Scott Phyllis in the backcourt. Not a good thing for Richlands with that foul, because Phyllis just picked up his second personal. He is the floor general for Richlands. Scott Phyllis now with 2 personal fouls, 2 team fouls on the Blue Tornadoes. Substitution for Gate City. Checking in is Todd Williams. Sitting down, Brent Heron. Gate City will unstack. Hensley will inbound with 1:46 left to play here in the first quarter. Hensley giving it to David Blackwell. Blackwell coming up. Gate City facing a man-to-man defense. Blackwell has, or check that, Baker on the far side, weaving around, looking for help. Mullins out in front of the three-point stripe. Whip pass into Hensley. Turnaround jumper is good. Hensley gets a kind bounce from the back of the iron, and Brad Hensley with 10 first quarter points, really doing the damage for the Devils. 13-8 the score in favor of Gate City. That's number 20 who has the basketball now for Richlands. J.J. Altizer who checked in. Altizer replaced Phyllis with 2 fouls. In the corner, number 44 who also has checked in. That is Billy McCoy. Driving the baseline was Richie Drum, and he comes across with 2 points. Richie Drum with 6 first quarter points. Steal and Baldwin's shot is no good. Foul on one of the Gate City players. Richlands mounting a comeback here in the latter stages of the first period. I believe Brad Hensley will pick up the foul for Hensley. That'll be his second foul. And immediately Chris Lark gets up off the bench. Gate City will be coming in with its speed lineup. Jason Jones also set to check in as the free throw is good by number 22, Brad Baldwin of Richlands. Baldwin with his first points of the night. Baker and Blackwell have a seat for Gate City. And now Heron coming in for the Blue Devils. For Richlands, number 40 into the contest. That is Kevin Dye. Drum and number 52, Blankenship sitting down. Hensley has a seat as Heron replaces him for Gate City. So revamped lineups for each squad. Shot is good as Baldwin gets both. Gate City trying to get it up court without their starting backcourt in there. Save and no traveling violation whistled. It'll be Richlands basketball. Gate City fans wanting a travel violation. Steal as the ball was thrown right to Jason Jones. He'll hold things up for Gate City, giving it to Lark. Apparently some confusion right now. Gate City trying to hold things up. Mullins from three. It's good. Chad Mullins launching a bomb from three-point land. And that'll be his first points of the night. What a way to get in the scoring column. 16-12. Gate City leading it. And let's see how it'll be a foul on Mullins. Sending to the line, number 22, Brad Baldwin. Check that. Todd Williams picking up the personal foul. Third Gate City team foul. And at the line, once again, it is Brad Baldwin. Baldwin moments ago nailing two. He now has three on the night, all of those coming from the charity stripe. That cuts it to a 16-13 lead for Gate City. 19 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Shot is up, and it's good. Baldwin 4 for 4 on free throws tonight, and the lead down to 2 for the Blue Devils. Brent Heron will do the inbounding. Shannon Boy into the contest, replacing Mullins for the final 19 seconds. So all the starters pulled except for Brent Heron. Boy looking for help, finds Heron. Heron to a cutting Jason Jones with 9 seconds. Jones from three, a rainbow's up, no good. Rebound down to Heron in the lane, faking. Shot is no good, and a foul. Heron does the job, drawing the personal foul with 3 seconds left. Foul will be called on number 40 of Richlands, Kevin Dye, his first personal. And with 3 seconds left, Brent Heron looking to expand the Gate City lead, which is currently at 2. Scott Phillips coming back in for the final 3 seconds, probably to put up a three-pointer. Heron shooting two. First one is up and good for the Gate City senior. I asked Heron before the game if his ankles were giving him any problem, and he said he was at 100%, said the ankles felt good. Last night he took a fall at Lee County, but said simply he just stepped on somebody's foot, but he's all right tonight. Heron gets two, and it's down to a 3-point lead, 17-14. There should be another point on the board. It should be a 4-point lead for Gate City. Shot is up at the buzzer, no good. Scoreboard has Gate City at 17-14. Should be an 18-14 lead for Gate City. Richlands has yet to correct the scoreboard. It is an 18-14 lead for the Blue Devils. So while they decide to sort things out over on the far side, checking out the scoring for Gate City there in the first quarter. Chad Mullins with 3 points. Brent Heron with 2. Brad Hensley, a tremendous first quarter with 10 points. And Brian Baker also tossing 3. Still some confusion. Richlands not crediting Gate City with the final free throw by Brent Heron. It is 18-14 in favor of Gate City, and a confused look being offered by the Richlands scoring table. And we're just about set for the final 8 minutes of the first half, coming in the form of the second quarter. Gate City making a plea for its point. Still no motion coming from the Richlands bench, or Richlands scoring table. Some problems encountered earlier during the JV contest with the scoring table. It'll be Blue Tornado basketball, and finally the score is corrected. 18-14, the margin. 4-point lead for Gate City at the end of the first period. And they drop back into what appears to be a 3-2 defense. Over in the corner, they've got number 30. Driving there, number 20. And eventually it's Drum taking the shot from 16. Richie Drum. Drum led Richlands with 6 points there in the first period. Mullins trapped, gets it up to Hensley. Pass knocked away. It's out of bounds off the hands of number 30, Chris Clem. It'll be out of bounds to Gate City. No love lost between these two schools, former Southwest District rivals until Gate City moved to the Highlands. Baker in the corner to Mullins. He's double teamed. Pass thrown away. Drum comes up with it. 3-on-1 break. Drum taking it. Nice defense from behind by Brian Baker. And it's out of bounds to Gate City. Or check that, out of bounds to Richlands. 18-16. Richlands has cut it to 2. Drum looking for help. Finds number 20. That is J.J. Altizer. Back to Drum on the give and go. Shot over Hensley. No good. And it's Chad Mullins with the rebound. Coming down court for the Blue Devils. Pulls it up with the double team, giving it to Blackwell. Blackwell whipping it in the corner. Intended for Hensley. It is out of bounds off of Brad's hands to Richlands. 7:07 left to play before halftime. 18-16 in the favor of the Blue Devils. And bringing the ball up is J.J. Altizer. Altizer looking for help instead on the wing. He goes, and Hensley nearly stole it. They tried to get it into number 30, Clem. Eventually, it is Drum. Now Altizer from 3. It's no good. Rebound coming down as Blackwell gets hammered by Altizer. It'll be Gate City basketball. And the Blue Devils, Hensley, will inbound it. Blackwell appears to be okay. Took a mean shot there from Altizer. Baker, man-to-man defense by Richlands. They double-team Baker. Heron looking for help as he drives wide open as Hensley. Layup is good. Brad Hensley, 12 points on the night. 10 of those in the first quarter. Phillips thought about driving, instead pulls it back out. Drum back out front. Altizer was assumed the point guard chores. Driving all the way. Layup no good. Trying to tip it in was Clem. Instead, Chad Mullins of Gate City comes down with the rebound. Blue Devils 20-16 lead. 4-point advantage. 6:14 to left to play in the second quarter. Mullins having to fire it off quickly. Stripped away, but he comes back up with it, needing help. And over and back, they call it, saying Mullins stepped on the half-court stripe. It'll be out of bounds to Richlands in front of the scorer's table. A wild and woolly first half here at the Richlands Middle School Gymnasium between the Blue Tornadoes and Gate City. Phillips driving. He'll take the jumper, and it's good. Scott Phillips with his first 2 points of the second quarter. He's got 4 altogether, and that cuts it to a 2-point advantage for Gate City. Heron weaving around, looking for help. Hensley in the corner to Mullins. Faking. He'll pull up from 17. Jumper is no good. Rebound out of bounds. It'll be off the hands of one of the Richlands players. It'll go to Gate City. Baker calling out play number 2 with 5:42 left on the clock. Into Hensley. Looking for Mullins. He's got it out here in front with Altizer guarding him. Chad Mullins weaving his way in the lane, and he is called for traveling as he could not pull up in time. The pivot foot getting glued to the ground. And with 5:35, Richlands coming down to try to tie it and stripped away from Scott Phillips. The basketball will be Richlands. Great job of defense there by Chad Mullins, number 22. Again, Gate City playing with that awkward zone. Phillips pulls up from 17. Jumper no good. Rebound sworn down there by Chad Mullins. And Heron has it, whipping it up to Baker. Open from 3 instead, holding it up for Mullins. He'll take it from 3. Shot is up short. Rebound down to number 40 of Richlands. That is Kevin Dye. Altizer pulling it up. And that'll be Clem dishing it off inside the Drum. Out of bounds to Richlands. Stripped away by Brad Hensley. Clock standing at 5:06 and a timeout whistled by Richlands. Or check that timeout by Gate City. So Coach Sandy Blackwell wanting to talk things over with his troops at the 5:06 mark. His team leading 20-18. As right now you get a good shot of the Gate City varsity cheerleaders, and we'll take a listen to the varsity squad. And an outstanding job as always. Hats off to the JV and varsity cheerleading squads who make the trips night in and night out with the basketball squad. Doing a great job this year as always. Once again, looking at the scoring, the big gun tonight for Gate City coming from an unlikely source, at least unlikely from scoring average-wise. Brad Hensley pumping in 12 points tonight for the Blue Devils. He's leading all scorers. The second leading scorer for Gate City, tie between Chad Mullins and Brian Baker. Both of those players counting 3-pointers. And Brent Heron with a pair of free throws. For Richlands, leading scorer to this point, Richie Drum with 8. He is followed by Brad Baldwin and Scott Phillips, both of those players with 4 points. Kevin Dye inbounding it for Richlands. 2018 lead for the Blue Devils. 5:06 left to play here in the second quarter. Some discussion between the two referees. The exact nature unknown at this moment. Gate City took an earlier victory over Richlands back at the middle school gymnasium, so Richlands out for blood tonight. They've packed it in, a good hometown crowd. Got almost the entire section filled over on the home side, and a good crowd to my left over here. Long pass in from Dye to Altizer. Altizer, and finally working into Phyllis on the baseline. Three-pointer by number 20, no good. Number 24, Drum. Here comes Blackwell as he is hounded and finally fouled from behind. Let's see who picks up the personal. It'll be number 30, Chris Clem, with the personal foul. That'll be personal number 1 on Chris, and that'll be the 4th team foul on Richland. Gate City inbounding it. One more, and the Blue Tornadoes are in the penalty. Heron finally gets it to Brian Baker with Phyllis in his face. Baker weaving around. He'll go all the way wide open in the lane. It's a running layup finger roll for Brian Baker. 5 points of the night. First 2 here in the second quarter. Drum. Nice move around Heron, and it goes in. Richie Drum. Big gun tonight for the for the Blue Tornadoes. 10 points. 4 of them here in the second. Wide open is Todd Williams. He'll drive. Off the glass, it's good. Great pass by David Blackwell. Williams coming in, replacing Hensley with 2 fouls. Altizer open from 3. Shot is up, and it's good. 3-pointer by J.J. Altizer. And the ball game now down to 1 point. 24-23. Mullins along the right wing. Being guarded by Altizer. Mullins in trouble. Dumping it off to Blackwell. Baker open from 3. He'll put it up. The tray is no good. Rebound down to the Richlands Altizer, and the Blue Tornadoes have a chance to take the lead here. 3:55 left to play in the second quarter. Drum back to Altizer. Phyllis will drive around. He'll take it himself off the glass. Scoop shot no good, and a foul on one of the Blue Tornadoes. Called with the foul will be number 40, Kevin Dye. Second foul on Dye, and that will send to the free throw line number 22, Chad Mullins, to shoot a 1-and-1. 5 team fouls now on Richlands, 3 on Gate City. Mullins will be replaced by Lark as soon as Chad finishes with the free throws. Chad tonight, scoring-wise, has 3 points, those coming on a tray he launched earlier. Free throw is up and good from the Gate City senior. Mullins with his first point of the second quarter, now has 4 total. And the second half of the 1-and-1 is good as well. And Chad will go to the bench to have a well-deserved breather. Chris Lark, the senior number 20, coming in. Now this lineup on the floor for Gate City. At the guard position, Blackwell, Baker. Forwards, Heron and Lark. And in the pivot position, it's Todd Williams. Token press put on by Gate City, tipped away in the hands of number 34, Drum. Nice pass to Altizer as he hits the layup over the flying Chris Lark. J.J. Altizer with 5 points tonight. All of those coming in the second quarter. Blackwell looking for help. Wide open is Lark. Thought about passing it inside. Instead gets it to Baker. He'll drive around the wing. On the baseline, he's pinned. Looking for help. Wide open is Lark. Off the glass is good. Great looking pass there by Brian Baker. Chris Lark getting in the scoring column. His first 2. It's now to 28-25 lead for Gate City. 3:11 left to play. Pass up in the front court to Richie Drum. Or check that. That's number 34 into the contest. Terry Monk. Shot no good by number 22, Brad Baldwin, but a Gate City foul. Foul is on number 14, David Blackwell. Blackwell picking up personal number 1, and that is the 4th team foul. That'll send David Baldwin to the line, shooting a pair. Baldwin, that's Brad Baldwin. Baldwin with 4 points on free throws earlier tonight. He's 5 for 5 so far, all those on free throws. He cuts the lead to 2 for Gate City, 28-26, 3:02. Make it a 1-point game once again. Baldwin with 6 points on the evening. Here come the Devils. Over on the far wing, that is Blackwell from 3. No good. Rebound down to Gate City's Brent Heron. Great hands. He'll drive the lane. Pump fake. Shot is up, and it's good. Brent Heron getting the roll, and Heron contributing a pair. He's got 4 on the evening. Light pressure being applied by Gate City. Baldwin finally crossing the stripe. 2:37 and a 3-point lead for Gate City. Finally, a foul whistled on the Blue Devils. Chris Lark, number 20. And Coach Sandy Blackwell praying that the explanation for that foul come from heaven and grace him. Lark couldn't believe it either, but it is a foul on Gate City's number 20. J.J. Altizer sent to the free throw line. Altizer with 5 points, all of those here in the second period. Scott Phillips back in, replacing number 30, Chris Clem. 2:33 is what the clock stands at right now before the halftime intermission. Altizer, first free throw is good. In the earlier matchup between these two squads, something that really hurt the Blue Tornadoes was a lack of good free throw shooting, but tonight they're making up for it. Altizer's second one is good as well, and JJ now standing with 7 points in the night. Blackwell quickly up with 2:30 at the Heron along the baseline. He's pinned down there, needing help. Lark, Blackwell is open, needing help, driving, running one-hander, no good. Blackwell finding Baker from 3. Shot is up, no good. Baker thought he had it. Phyllis instead comes down with it and brings the Blue Tornado team up the court. 2:11 left to play before the halftime break. 1 point lead. Gate City again collapsing. Phyllis from 3. Rainbow shot, no good. Blackwell down with the rebound, and he'll push it up. Long pass up to Lark, leading up. Lark traveled with the basketball. Shot doesn't count. Turnover to Richlands. And a substitution, Chad Mullins, after an extended breather, comes back in. Brian Baker will have a seat on Coach Blackwell's bench. And again, the Blue Tornadoes have a chance to take the lead. 30-29 is what they trail. We're under 2 minutes to play here in the second quarter. 1:50 exactly. Eventually, Altizer has it. Fans calling for a foul. Shoveled out of bounds. Altizer sliding on the baseline, and he will be called for traveling. Turnover to Gate City. And it'll be Brad Hensley bringing it in to Chad Mullins. Mullins left alone on the side. He'll bring it up himself. Loses the basketball. Number 52, Blankenship has it into Phyllis. Phyllis open, blocked by Hensley. And out of bounds to Richlands. Tremendous block by Brad Hensley. The contact occurring as both players went for the basketball. Richlands fans not at all happy with the call. Phyllis looking to inbound it. Long pass into number 22, and that is Baldwin. They eventually whip it to Phyllis, being guarded by Mullins on the far side. Baldwin bouncing it inside. Phyllis driving the lane, stripped away, and a foul whistled on Chad Mullins. And for Mullins, that'll be his first personal foul. That'll send number 12, Scott Phyllis, to the line, shooting a 1-and-1. Gate City now in the penalty. Both teams will be shooting 1-and-1 on non-two-shot fouls from here on out. 1:19 left to play in the first half. First one no good. And the referees called a 1-and-1, but now apparently an inadvertent whistle. It was a 1-and-1 situation. It was a 1-and-1 situation. So it'll be Gate City basketball, an inadvertent official's whistle, and a traveling violation on Gate City's Chad Mullins. It'll be out of bounds to Richlands, still within 1 point. 1:14 left to play. Into the contest, number 24, Richie Drum returning. Drum so far is the leading scorer for the Blue Tornadoes. Drum has pumped in 10 points tonight. Being guarded by Mullins. Gate City with a collapsing zone and a foul whistle on Lark. He got caught with his hand in the pocket of one of the Blue Tornadoes, namely number 20, J.J. Altizer. And that'll be personal number 2 on Lark. Altizer back at the free throw line. J.J. with 7 points in the contest. All of those coming here in the second quarter. Blankenship has a seat, and it is number 40, Dye, coming back in for Richlands. Altizer's shot is up and good as he cans the first part of the 1-and-1. J.J. now with 3 of his 8 points on free throws. Second is up, and it's no good. Rebound coming down to Gate City's Blackwell. Bringing it up court, finding Baker. Baker will pull up, pump fakes, and the shot is short. And it's Dye with the rebound. Richlands and Gate City tied at 30. Drum wide open. Layup is good with 34 seconds left. Richie Drum is 12th point. Gate City up to Baker. 50 seconds left. Gate City going to calmly try to work their way back in it. Trailing by 2. Mullins from 3. It's good. Chad Mullins as he buries his second three-pointer of the evening. Mullins now with 8 points on the contest. 5 of those here in the second quarter. 33-32. Gate City leading the ball game. It's in the hands of Altizer. Drum back to Altizer. Gate City collapsing in the middle, playing a 1-3-1 defense. 1-3-1 is the zone they put up against Richlands. Back and forth they go. Richlands milking the clock for the final shot. 10 seconds left, and now they get the go. Altizer driving to the right. Looking for help. Clock down to 5. 4. He's going to have to put it up himself from 3. J.J. Altizer, no good. And the shot will not count by number 34, Richlands Monk, and that'll do it. After one complete half of basketball, Gate City, owners of a 1-point lead over Richlands, 33-32. We'll take a break and be back for the second half of action in just a moment. Second half of action here at the Richlands Middle School Gymnasium. The halftime score at 33-32. We're just about set for the final 2 quarters of basketball action between Richlands and Gate City. Gate City leading this contest at the half. The team's just about set to take the floor. Looking at the scoring in the first half for Richlands, Scott Phillips with 4, J.J. Altizer with 8, Brad Baldwin with 6. Leading the team was Richie Drum with 12, Chris Clem with 2. And for Gate City, Chris Lark with 2, Chad Mullins with 8, Brent Herron with 4. Leading scorer was Brad Hensley with 12, Todd Williams with 2, and Brian Baker with 5. Turnover called as we start off the second half. Traveling violation whistled on David Blackwell. It'll be Richlands basketball here in the front court. They trail only by 1 point, so they have a good chance to get the lead back on this trip. Phillips playing with 2 fouls for Richlands. He went out early in the first half. In and out, three-pointer by Drum. Second effort is good. That is Chris Clem. And another violation whistled on Blackwell. Simply a mental error on David Blackwell. 2 turnovers to start things off for Gate City here in the third period. And it's a 34-33 lead in the favor of Richlands. Blue Tornadoes coming out on top early. Clem in the middle, has it stripped away. Nice defense. Baker with good hands, pulling it up. Hounding defense there by number 22, Baldwin. Mullins all the way. Play to a jumper. Nobody in there to rebound. And here come the Blue Tornadoes. Drum has it stripped away. Nice defense by Hensley, doing it all tonight. Blackwell loses it out of bounds, but it is knocked out of bounds by Drum. It'll be Gate City basketball near the scorer's table on the far side. 33-34, Gate City trailing Richlands to start off the second half. Blackwell being double teamed in the backcourt, driving all the way. He'll take the running layup, and it's good. David Blackwell getting 2. First 2 Gate City points in the second half, and once again, in the seesaw effort, it's Gate City on top, 35-34. 6:58 left to play here in the third quarter, early on in the second half. Gate City once again dropping back to the 1-3-1 zone. It was a very effective zone at the end of the first half. Baldwin out to Phillips. They're trying to work for a good shot. Clem back to Phillips. The zone works like this. You have Baker out front, then your 3 players are Blackwell and Hensley and Mullins. There's the shot, no good. Mullins pulling down the rebound, and a foul on Clem. The other player is Herron, and he is the last player back there in the zone. Foul is on Chris Clem. Second personal on Chris Clem, and the first team foul on Richlands. Hensley inbounding. Long pass up to a wide open. Blackwell streaking, has got 1-on-2. Pass over to Herron. Herron goes up strong. Shot does not go, but he is fouled. Brent Herron taking the will take a couple of tries at the free throw line. Foul is on number 52, Brandon Blankenship. That'll be his first foul and the second team foul. Brent Herron in the first half picking up 4 points, 2 of those on free throws. And the Gate City senior eyeing the mark for the first one, and he misses. He'll have 1 more. Trying to give Gate City a 2-point lead with his shot. 35-34, the score at the present. Shot is up, and it is no good, so Heron misses a pair. Mullins trying to pick the pocket of Blankenship, and the Blue Tornadoes are on the offensive attack. Phyllis in the front court, looking to his left, or check that right wing. Back now to Phyllis. They're trying to find Blankenship on the inside. No posting up with Heron in there. Shot is up by Phyllis from three. It's good. Scott Phyllis with a three-pointer, his first of the ball game. And Richlands on top by 2. Baker. And I'm not sure what, apparently pinned the ball to his leg. One of the more odd-looking symbols I've ever seen given by a referee, but it is a turnover. 37-35, the score in favor of Richlands. Baldwin in the corner, wide open, was number 34. That was Terry Monk. Off the foot of Blackwell, it'll be a kick ball back to Richlands. They'll inbound it from the baseline. 5:49 left to play here in the third quarter. Richlands leading it by 2, 37-35. Eventually, Scott Phyllis has it in the corner. Monk from 18, shot no good. Rebound tipped around. Finally, a foul, no, traveling violation whistled on Chris Clem of Richlands. So on the turnover, it'll be Gate City basketball, 37-35. They trail it. Lead pass up to Brian Baker, who bird dogged it. No foul whistle. Great defensive play there by number 22, Baldwin. Baker looked like he got mugged. Phyllis over on the side, back to Phyllis. He thought about the three. Instead, he'll drive the lane. Running jump shot is good for Scott Phyllis. 2 more. Phyllis has 5 here in the third period. It's up to a 4-point advantage for Richlands. Mullins has it. Triple team looking for help. Blackwell from 3. Shot is up. It's no good. Hensley with a long rebound. Fadeaway jumper from 16, no good. And Phyllis pushing it up for Richlands. He'll hold it up as Mullins is all over him. Now driving. And a reach-in foul charged to Brian Baker of Gate City. Only the first foul on Brian Baker. Check that. They give the foul to Chad Mullins. So Mullins with his second personal. First team foul on Gate City in the second half. Blankenship turning around, and he traveled in the lane, trying to pump fake. Hensley in the air. And it'll be out of bounds to Gate City. 4:54 left to play here in the third quarter. Baker has it, tossing back to Heron. Brent will take it easy and look for some help. Need somebody to come back up real quick. Mullins, the sure-handed forward, has it. Weaving out of a double team to Baker. Heron trying to post up. Brent's got it. A lot of contact on the inside. Heron going strong to the hoop. And he picks up 2 off the glass. That's Brent Heron with 6 points on the night. Gate City with a token press now on the backfield in the backcourt. 2-point lead for Richlands. Monk double team. Getting it up to Phyllis. Nice defense by Heron, tipping it out of bounds. It'll be Richlands basketball in front of their bench. 4:22 left to play in the third quarter. 39-37 in favor of the Blue Tornadoes. And it's Scott Phyllis with the basketball. Back to Phyllis. Driving, getting it in the corner to Clem. Cross-court pass to Baldwin. Eventually they work it in the corner. Phyllis open for 3. Instead he'll drive. Running jump shot is in and out of the rim. Coming down with his Chad Mullins pass swatted away. And it's tried. One of the Richlands players tried to save it out of bounds. Flying out of bounds was Brad Baldwin. It'll be Gate City basketball near midcourt. And a couple of Blue Tornado subs coming in. Number 24, Richie Drum checks back in, relieving Terry Monk. And also J.J. Altizer comes in. Scott Phyllis will have a seat for the Blue Tornadoes. 4:01 left to play in the third quarter. It's again 39-37 with Baker being guarded by Baldwin. Blackwell yelling for a foul. Mullins. And he'll be whistled for a traveling violation. Chad's shot will not count. Turnover to Richlands. 3:52 left to play. And it is now number 20, J.J. Altizer, newly checked into the game. Drum has it stripped away. Nice play by Mullins. Picking it back up. He'll drive all the way. Dishing it off instead to Drum. Richie Drum with the baseline drive and 2 more points for Richie Drum. He has 14 on the contest, leading scorer for both teams. Dump pass off to Baker, weaving around, and a traveling violation whistled on Brian Baker. And Coach Sandy Blackwell is irate at that call. Timeout by Gate City. As guys, we've seen many a peculiar thing happen here tonight. The scoreboard has not been operated in the best of ways, and a lot of the fans not very well pleased with some of the calls coming from the officials. But needless to say, a good ball game nonetheless. 41-37, 4-point lead for Richlands. Gate City had a 1-point lead at the half, and Richlands has come back to really turn it on here in the third quarter. Richlands Richlands varsity cheerleaders out on the court right now. And I believe the next game for Gate City will be Tuesday night. If I'm not mistaken, it'll be Tuesday night against Rye Cove over at Rye Cove. And then next Friday night, Gate City again in Highlands District action, hosting the Trojans of John Battle back in the Gate City Middle School. So we hope to see you all there for a Scott County matchup and a Highlands District matchup coming up next week for the Blue Devils. Gate City 0-1 in the Highlands so far after dropping a tough one to Lee County last night over on the Generals' home turf. All right, it's Richlands basketball to start things off for the final 3:30 here in the fourth period. Altizer over on the wing. Ball went back to Altizer. Gate City playing that 1-3-1 zone. Clem driving, spins around. Altizer back to Clem in the corner. Good defense by Gate City. Richlands trying to spread the zone out and catch somebody weaving through the seam. Baldwin back to Altizer. Drum driving the baseline, and Hensley could not get position in time, and Hensley looks like he may have got an elbow in the midsection. Looks like he's going to be okay. Now he's limping. Hopefully nothing wrong with that ankle. He may have stepped on Drum's ankle, or stepped on Drum's foot. For Hensley, that is his third foul. Second team foul. Cross-court pass to Baldwin, back to Altizer, driving, and a traveling violation on Altizer as he picked up the pivot foot before he put the basketball on the floor. And it'll be Gate City basketball. 2:57 here left to play in the third. Number 40, Dye, coming in to replace Blankenship. And Gate City trailing by 4, trying to narrow their deficit. Baldwin all over Baker, now being fronted, has eventually almost thrown away. They get it in the hands of Mullen, driving to the baseline. Shot is up and good for Chad Mullins from 10 feet. And that breaks a long scoring drought by Gate City. They had only had 4 points up to that point. And the foul whistled on one of the Gate City players. Shot does not count. Charging foul. No, charging foul. Charging foul on number 24, Richie Drum. I'm not sure who they gave the foul to. They say to Drum. And Baker tripped up, no call, and a jump ball with the alternating possession going to the Richlands Blue Tornadoes. Mullins talking things over with the referee, but Baker tripped up, no whistle. Number 20, that's J.J. Altizer with a basketball in the front court now. Over on the side to Baldwin, back to Altizer. Looking for help. Gate City's gone back to a 2-3 zone. Tipped away by Mullins, and Clem comes up with it. Eventually, they work it in the corner to Drum. He'll drive. And Richlands fans wanting a foul. Shot swatted away, but a foul on a Gate City inside player. That's Brian Baker picking up the personal foul. And for Baker, that will be his second personal. Team third. 41-39. Gate City trailing only by 2. And J.J. Altizer for Richlands will go to the free throw line, shooting 2. Scott Phillips is back in, replacing, replaced apparently, as the free throw is no good. Altizer replacing Brad Baldwin, number 22. And the second of 2 is good. 1 out of 2, and it's a 3-point lead for Richlands. Ball almost picked off, but it'll be Gate City basketball. Altizer now with 9 points on the evening. Into Baker. Baker facing Phyllis, gets it up to Brent Heron, wide open at midcourt. Heron looking for help. Stolen away, try to get it to Blackwell. Check that. Heron picks it up himself, and a foul whistled on the inside. Let's see who got called for pushing. Looks like it might be Chris Clem, number 30. Check that. It's Kevin Dye, number 40, with his third personal foul. The big man off the bench for Richlands, charged with the personal on the inside. 14 fouls now on Richlands. Lob pass into Mullins. He'll pull it out. Fade away from 16 in the lane is good for Chad Mullins. Mullins with 4 points here in the third quarter. It's now a 1-point lead for Richlands. Drum driving over Williams. Shot is good. Richie Drum having a great night against the Gate City team. Drum with 14. Check that, 16 points. Williams, and he is called for traveling. Couldn't decide whether to pass it or take it, and he is called for the turnover. 3-point lead for the Blue Tornadoes. 1:31 left to play here in the third quarter. Altizer looking for help. Up, and Drum brings it across. Double teamed, he gets it to Phyllis now. Phyllis in the corner, weaving his way back out. Drum driving the baseline. Williams posts him up, short by Drum, gets his own shot. Mullins fouls him. Chad Mullins picking up the personal foul, and that'll be Chad's third. That'll send number 24, Richie Drum, to the free throw line, trying to expand a 3-point lead possessed by the Richlands team. Shot is up, and it's good by Drum. Richie Drum now with 17 points for Richlands. Number 18 will give them a 5-point lead, and it's good. Mullins dribbling around a couple of defenders, looking for help, gets it to Heron. Heron is called for a traveling violation. And with 1 minute and 6 seconds left to play, it's a 5-point lead for Richlands. The Blue Tornadoes threatening to open this one wide up. Phyllis has it in the front court around the defense of Mullins. Clem open. Instead, going to bring it back out to J.J. Altizer. It's a 2-3 zone being run by Gate City right now. Phyllis being hounded by Blackwell. Over to Clem. Phyllis driving. He'll go off the glass. No good. Rebound. No rebounding for Gate City at all on the inside. Clem coming up with the rebound. And Coach Sandy Blackwell very upset about the lack of rebounding by his team. Clem open on the baseline. Puts it on the floor. Back out to Phyllis. They're going to work for the last shot as there is only 26 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. It's a 5-point lead for Richlands, 46-41. Phyllis has it. Clock down to 18. Now it's J.J. Altizer. 14 seconds left to play. Altizer over in the corner looking for help. And a foul whistled on Brent Heron, trying to steal the basketball from Chris Clem. That'll be the 5th team foul in Gate City, and it'll send Chris Clem to the free throw line, shooting a 1-and-1. Now for Gate City's Brent Heron, that'll be the PA announcer saying that is his 4th. I have it only as his 1st. Free throw is good by Clem. Mullins and Heron each have a seat on the bench for Coach Blackwell for the remaining 9 seconds, not wanting to pick up a cheap foul. It's a 6-point lead for Richlands. Shot is up, and it's good for Chris Clem as he gets them both. 7 seconds left. Baker bringing it up. Look for the 3. With 3 seconds left, has it stripped away. Gate City cannot get the shot off, and that'll do it. So a tremendous third quarter by the Richlands Blue Tornadoes, and they roar out to a 7-point lead at the end of 3. The score, 48-41 in the favor of Richlands. And now we'll take a look at the Gate City varsity cheerleaders. Looking at some third period statistics for Richlands, they really came on strong. Scott Phyllis with 5 points, including a 3-pointer. J.J. Altizer with a free throw in there. Richie Drum again continuing his hot pace. Drum with 6 points in the third period. And Chris Clem with 4 points. For Gate City, they only managed 8 points there in the third quarter. 4 of those from Chad Mullins, 2 from Brent Heron, and 2 from David Blackwell. So Gate City has its job cut out for it here in the fourth period. Final 8 minutes on the clock. Here at the Richlands Middle School, home turf for the Richlands Blue Tornadoes from the Southwest District, Gage City from the Highlands District. Gage City in the penalty, Richlands with one more foul. Hensley will do the inbounding for Gage City. Teams unstacked. Referee still, now he gives the basketball to Hensley. Gets it to Baker in the front court. Baker looking for help. It'll be interesting to see the Gage City offensive strategy. They appeared a bit confused in the third period. Man-to-man defense being played by Richlands. Blackwell loses the basketball. It's tipped around and it's taken by J.J. Altizer. Drum pulls up from 17. Shot is good by Richie Drum. And he now leads all scorers. Richie Drum with 20 points tonight. Baker up to Blackwell. Tried to get it to, I don't know who the pass was intended for. Hensley in the middle. Shot rolls out. Gage City cannot buy a basket at this point. Altizer up the Drum, driving the baseline around Baker. Shot no good. Tipped around, and finally Chad Mullins emerges from the pack with the basketball. Weaving around a couple of defenders. Mullins from three. Shot is up, and it's good. Three-pointer for Chad Mullins, and that's one way to cut the deficit. Chad Mullins with the first 3 points for Gage City. It's down to a 6-point lead for the Blue Tornadoes. Dye now to Phyllis, being fronted by Baker and Mullins. Bounce pass to Clem. Inside to number 40, Dye. His jumper rolls around, and it's good for Richlands. Kevin Dye, his first 2 points of the night. Baker has the basketball. Richlands really pressing hard against Gage City. Baker out front to Blackwell. Looking inside for help. From three, Blackwell's shot is short. Hensley come down with it. Now it's Baker to Mullins from three. Shot is up. Another three-pointer. They give him a two-pointer. And I can't believe that. Chad Mullins robbed of a three-pointer. Give him two, though, and that'll cut the lead once again to 6 points. 5 points early here in the fourth quarter for Chad Mullins. J.J. Altizer now to Scott Phyllis. 1-3-1 defense being played again by Gage City. It's Scott Phyllis now in the front court. 6:06 left to play. Richlands going to work for a good shot. 52-46, they lead it. And a foul whistled on Brian Baker, reaching in from behind. And that'll send J.J. Altizer to the free throw line, shooting a 1-and-1. A couple of subs coming in for each team. Jason Jones replaces Baker for Gage City. And also number 22, Brad Baldwin, checks in, replacing Scott Phyllis. So Jason Jones, a three-point specialist, replacing Baker. First one is good by Altizer. He has been true on all 5 of his free throw attempts tonight. J.J. Altizer now with 10 points. Make it 11. Lead is back to an 8-point advantage for Richlands. Blackwell up to Mullins. Chad has hit a three-pointer and a very long two-pointer. Jones from three. It is short. Rebound down to Richie Drum. Bringing it up court. He's going to take it all the way. 1-on-2. Dumps it off to Baldwin. Shot is good by Brad Baldwin. 8 points tonight for Brad Baldwin. A 10-point lead for Richlands, and things again falling apart for Gage City. A familiar scenario. The game really taking a bad turn in the fourth period. A foul going to be whistled. Or check that, it'll be out of bounds to Gage City as the Richlands basketball. No, now it's Gage City basketball. We have a set of officials who cannot make up their mind tonight. Mullins dribbling around, looking for help, and now it's Jones from three. Shot is up, and it's good by the three-point general of Gage City, Jason Jones. His first 3 points of the night. It's down to a 7-point lead for Richlands. 5:14 remaining on the clock in the ball game. Altizer passes deflected away, and Drum is fouled from behind by Todd Williams. Brent Heronsick to check back in the ball game. That'll be personal number 2 on Williams, and Richie Drum will go to the free throw line. Drum has a pair of free throws on the night.